Well, Okada is leaving New Japan. The Rainmaker has finally decided to move on to pastures new. The current thought across the wrestling world is he's heading over to America to join one of the biggest companies, being AEW or WWE. It won't be too long till we see which ring he will be getting in, and it does look like AEW is more tempting. But what could happen if Okada steps into Triple H's world? Well, I've put together a list of 8 superstars that could and should have an incredible match with Okada. Also, these would all be first-time matchups. So let's get into it. I'm Toby, this is the main event, and these are 8 dream WWE opponents for Kazuchika Okada. Chad Gable. What business is WWE in? Wrestling, obviously. And there isn't many people in WWE that can do the wrestling better than Chad Gable. We saw this in 2023 when he had his run of matches with Gunther, but secretly a lot of us knew this before. A man like Okada, who could easily be classed as one of the best in the world, coming into the company and needing an opponent to show the skill level of the new signing. Who is better than Chad Gable? Currently sitting in the mid-card with Otis, Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree, better named Alpha Academy. As mentioned earlier, Chad had somewhat of a push last year with his fantastic rivalry battling Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Dreams seem to have faded now of him beating the Austrian for the legendary belt, but if there is one person who could have equally as compelling matches with Chad, it would be Okada. Sure, Chad wouldn't come out on top though. Well, it is WWE and 50-50 booking, so at least Chad would get a win somewhere. Carmelo Hayes. When we look to the future of WWE, a guaranteed WrestleMania main eventer is him being Carmelo Hayes. He has been one of the stars of NXT since its change to 2.0 and back to a kind of black and gold brand. He's a former North American NXT champion and has delivered in every story he has been involved in, having phenomenal matches along the way with names like Bron Breakker and Ilya Dragunov. Now bouncing between NXT and the SmackDown brand since his call-up during the United States Championship #1 Contender tournament, he has proven to many who don't watch the development brand that he is that good. A talent as diverse as Okada could really be useful in elevating everything Melo does. Win or loss, a good 20 minutes with Okada could elevate him to new heights. Hell, I'd even see this match main eventing a PLE. Tyler Bate. Finally, he is on the main roster. Get in! Tyler Bate has been a standout in NXT and the former NXT UK since joining WWE 7 years ago. A lot of his matches were Match of the Year contenders over that time. Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2017? Fantastic. Gunther at UK TakeOver Cardiff? Masterclass. Even his tag match with Mustache Mountain compadre Trent Seven against the Undisputed Era? Storytelling gold. He is a talent that really pulls it out of the bag when needed but makes it look flawless. You know what other wrestler does this also? Okada. Many matches over the years featuring the Rainmaker have received overwhelming praise, and Okada's skill is always highly complimented. Put him and the big strong boy together and tell them to steal the show. They'll probably steal the entire year with how good they both are. Tyler, since coming up recently, hasn't received the same praise as someone like Carmelo Hayes, as he's just been treated as Pete Dunne's mate. But a match with someone as praised as Okada could really push him up the card as one to watch for WWE's future. Sami Zayn. There's not much that we don't already know about Sami Zayn. He's a fantastic character, he's a storytelling master, and he's also bloody good in the ring. He's a perfect first opponent for anybody coming into the company. Let's look at Okada's former colleague Shinsuke Nakamura. To this day, people still talk about how incredible his debut NXT match against Sami Zayn was at TakeOver Dallas in 2016. Some even say it is still the best match in NXT history. Sami is the perfect person to work with these Japanese talents when they first step into the company, as he has such knowledge of how they wrestle for his time working the indies and yet can still make the match feel very WWE. If Okada was to come straight to the main roster, Sami would be a great hand to ask to welcome the Rainmaker to the WWE fans, who may not exactly know who Okada is. Yeah, there's still genuinely people who don't have a clue. Gunther. There aren't many that can be classed as a perfect wrestler, as nothing is ever truly perfect, but one name that is close is Gunther. The former Walter has been one of the talking points of WWE since he first arrived at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool in 2019. Fantastic matches like the previously mentioned one with Tyler Bate, his incredible TV match with Ilya Dragunov, and of course his masterclass with Sheamus at Clash of the Castle. Gunther's growth just does not seem to be stopping. In the ring, he has been great at dominating a match, looking like a monster yet making his opponent look legit at the same time. Currently carrying the Intercontinental Championship, he broke Honky Tonk's record by making the belt look legit. There doesn't seem to be anybody who could potentially take it off him at the moment. I mean, there could be a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion having his eyes on it. A match between Okada and Gunther is potentially the wettest of dreams for many wrestling fans. Sorry about that thought. It would be a slugfest between two heavy hitters that would be a match that we would all talk about for a long time. I'd even say it could be a WrestleMania main event match, just like a match between Okada and CM Punk. You all know he was going to be on this list. At this point, this channel seems to be a CM Punk stan page. Pepsi Phil has been surprisingly great in the ring since he returned to wrestling in 2021, minus all the buckshot lariats he botched that time. Most of the matches he had in AEW were consistent and he always performed well in them. Yes, still not on the level of his previous WWE run, but still good. His promos though, consistent fire every time he picked up a microphone. You could almost say he was cooking. Of course, this list is talking specifically about matches Okada could have with people, but a big part of the story for some matches is the promos leading up to them. The self-proclaimed best in the world taking on one of the men referred to as the best in the world. It's a story that writes itself, but it could be taken to a whole new level by the words Punk says. Match would be bloody fun too. Seth Rollins. This is almost certainly a banger. Seth Rollins may be one of the most talented members of the main roster ever. His mix of storytelling and in-ring skill has given us fans some incredible viewing over the years, and his ability to elevate talent is well known. A man that doesn't need elevating though is Kazuchika Okada. He's a main event player wherever he goes, and if he were to go to WWE, hopefully Triple H would push him as so. To be fair, they wouldn't really sign him for the amount of money that he wants just to have him meander on the mid-card. Even without a belt, Rollins' programs always feel like a big deal, and one against one of the best wrestlers out of Japan. I mean, it's just as close to a match with Will Ospreay as we're going to see at the moment. Seeing Okada reverse a stomp into a Rainmaker only for Rollins to reverse it into a pedigree, this is the kind of match we would be seeing. Rollins vs Okada is one of the matches a lot of the IWC have spoken about when they first heard Okada was leaving New Japan, but I think there is one more that would be more of an epic. Roman Reigns. They always say leave the best till last. A match between our tribal chief Roman Reigns and the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada could truly be cinema. Unless we get the standard bloodline interfering, jaw-jacking crap we've had from Roman for the past 3 years, then this entry would be a waste of time. It should be like number 100. But if we get a Roman that actually wants to work a match as well as he can, this would be awesome. The head of the table versus the Rainmaker as a tagline itself is enough to get the internet wrestling fans happy. Not them casuals though. The craziest thought in this match also is that Okada would go in as the underdog. No one in wrestling is as dominant as Roman Reigns right now, and Okada loses. Not a lot, but enough to keep him human. And a human going up against someone at God level is a David versus Goliath if I've ever seen one. For a title or not, this could main event any of the big 4 or 5 PLEs. But if after Roman's bloodline story he just goes back to being the big dog, nah, scrap this idea. Don't want to see none of that suffering succotash. And they were 8 dream opponents for Kazuchika Okada if he went to WWE. What first time matches would you like to see? Leave them down in the comments, and remember to hit the like and subscribe button because I like doing these videos for you. But thank you so much for watching. I have been Toby, this has been the main event, and I will see you soon.